Hello, and welcome to the package team quad planning meeting. This week we're going to discuss some product strategy and data. So I'll share my screen because I have a few MRs open. So a couple of weeks ago, everyone could see my screen, I think. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a few weeks ago, I mentioned in the last version of this meeting that we were starting to work with marketing on a tier 2 use case for the package stage. The use cases, actually, I'll pull up the CI use case as an example. The use cases are used by the marketing, sales, and our customers as a way of stating what our market viewpoint is, defining what the solution that's supposed to solve this problem in the industry does, and then have helpful documentation on how to get started using the product, and answers any questions about competitive comparison. So it's kind of intended to be a home that you could share this with your customer or with your account and let them know that they should be using the product and why, and here's what people are saying about it. So a lot of work went into creating this from the technical marketing team and from the product team. And you can see here that there's like analyst relations, we have customer recognitions and proof points. So we really want the same thing for the package stage moving forward. I think it will really help TAMs and solution architects drive usage. So Parker and I, who's our stable counterpart on the marketing side, have been, this is 14.1, I'll do it later. We've been starting to work on just the first draft of this. So we have some information down here in the market viewpoint. We're talking about for kind of distinguishing and focusing on large organizations, since they're going to be more likely to want to view this information, especially for some of the more advanced features. And when we're talking about the benefit of migrating away from a tool like Artifactory or Sonatype. This is a little more rough. When we started getting our personas down in there, and actually Parker's been doing a better job of this. Where the idea is that you basically say software developer and you link to them, and then we would say why they want to use the product and what benefit they get out from it and what challenges they may occur. And then we will do the same thing for buyer personas. So this is, translating some of the information we have from customer calls into words. And then this is kind of just talking through what are the different market requirements. So as a quick brainstorming exercise, which is where this is at now, I kind of just wrote down all of the questions that I hear from customers on a regular basis, kind of in the order of concerns that I hear it as well. So I'll share this link in the agenda. This sort of brainstorm activity will end up in this market requirements table. It's a little more simplified and it's not just questions. And then after that, we'll talk through the GitLab solution, how we meet the market requirements, and then we have some discovery questions in here. So this is intended to help TAMs if they see, they can go into this tool Gainsight and they can see if their customer is using the product or not, and then these give them some questions they could ask to engage to see if they could drive usage. We'll have a competitive comparison section, and we have a lot of this content, especially for JFrog and Sonatype, and GitHub should be on here as well on our direction page. So we'll just need to add that in. And then, as we get further along, we'll probably add more things in, like the proof points. So maybe some customer quotes when we're ready. And then what I'm really excited about is getting to the adoption guide. So how can we help people migrate from one tool to GitLab will be really useful, and having really clear documentation, I think, will be a really exciting change. I'll pause there. I have a couple of other minor things I can go to, but any questions or comments about that? I'll share the MR in the doc right now, and you could always check it out and add in any comments to the MR. Okay.
Thanks, Tim.
And I had a couple of other things I could show off.
I have a question. For the migration guides, do we plan to support or offer scripts or CI pipelines or this kind of things? The adaptation guide.
Yeah, good question. I think you mean like a pipeline that would migrate all of your data from, let's say, Artifactory to GitLab. That would be ideal if we could do something like that. Because really what we want is, one of the big concerns I have talking to customers now is they say, well, even, okay, you have the features, or your roadmap has the features that we want, but we have terabytes of data with company X. How are we going to move that? And then aside from the data, how are we going to update all of our run books? How are we going to update all of our pipelines to point from Artifactory to GitLab? So having some clear guidance on that, even an MVC of it that can be improved over time, will be really helpful. And we have an issue that is not scheduled yet because we've been a bit at capacity, but to investigate how to potentially help users migrate from Artifactory to GitLab. And I'm thinking like the Jenkins importer or the GitHub Issues importer, for instance. Okay. Another minor change. Oops, go ahead. Sorry.
Just thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Another minor change that we made, so for each product group has a pricing tiering strategy. So when we introduce a new product feature, we have to make a decision on where does that feature belong, in free, premium, or ultimate. And previously the guidance or the model that we were using is a buyer-based model. So basically saying what, for example, if something is for a single developer or a small team of developers, it would go into free. If it's for an organization, it would go into premium. And then if it's for a complex, like multilateral organization, then it would go into ultimate. That's still true. We still use the buyer-based model, but now in addition, we're also using pricing themes. So there was some research done, and it was determined that bundling product features into themes help drive conversions on the pricing page. So now, generally speaking, and you could read about these pricing themes models here. For us, I chose a few themes to focus on for premium and ultimate. So I focused on faster code reviews, thinking that, you know, if you're bouncing in between GitLab and Sonatype or GitLab and Artifactory, or your multiple apps, or you're trying to manage authentication and authorization between multiple apps, we can help with that by consolidating all of your package management work in GitLab. And then Ops Insights, so something that's on our roadmap is, and that we hear pretty regularly from our premium, from really most of our premium and ultimate customers, is that they want to know how packages and container images are being used. So being able to display number of downloads and being able to say how often they're being used and by whom is an important feature. So adding that, any features that fall under that will be premium. So this is kind of what I'm looking for. When I see premium, I say a larger company, but generally if it helps drive faster code reviews or delivers Ops Insights to the director level, then it'll probably be in premium. And then for ultimate, really any features that are focused on large complex organizations or that are focused on advanced security testing and compliance. So for us, that really means the planned category of the dependency firewall, which shifts left on the security a little bit to allow you to say never download any dependencies that are suspicious or are out of bounds for our compliance rules. So yeah, that's a quick update on the pricing tierings. Any questions or comments or concerns? No. Okay, and then so I made the direction page updates yesterday. I don't think that there was any significant updates. Let's see. Yeah, no specific updates. We're still focusing on scalability and performance. Replaced some new package registry issues since we delivered the PI group endpoint. And we are still planning to release this issue, but I just reworded it. So yeah, no major updates there. And finally, covering all topics in the week one theme, we have the SaaS PI updates. I've been trying to share these in Slack, but I'd encourage you to click through the MRs if you see them, because on a weekly basis, we're adding in insights, looking at the our Grafana package dashboard, and suggesting improvements and linking to scheduled issues that should help with availability and reliability. And yeah, I'll link to this MR in the docs as well. But good news is our error budget since resolving this issue with the Composer caching has been dropping by a minute every day. So it's good news that we're seeing those results. That is my rapid round for week 1. Any questions or? Okay. Well, I think, Dan, we could stop the recording whenever you get a chance and call it quits.
Sure. Does anyone else have anything they want to raise before we stop the recording? Nope. All right. Well, thanks everybody.